If you're putting all this effort into the gym, I bet you're probably wanting some great returns. And the reason why you still feel like you've got this mid physique, it isn't your genetics, it is most likely your training. And that's what we're going to address in this video. So the first thing that we want to get into is load does not determine growth. We need to stop program hopping and actually start building. So you can see here, we've got two plates on the bench, lightweight baby. I'm confused. Why don't I look like jacked Adrian? Because we have to realize here that muscle doesn't grow because a set was heavy. It grows when the reps actually reach high mechanical tension. So training close to failure is really what it does there. So with enough weekly sets, good technique and recovery to match. That is the recipe for growing muscle, not just slapping plates onto the bar. So we want to confuse the muscle, yeah? That's what variety does. We want to constantly chop and change and confuse it so it grows and stimulates. Incorrect. So Peter the program hopper is saying in this picture, bro, I've been training for years. Why aren't I big? Coach Adrian saying, because you've never actually progressed in both skill and or trained any of those movements close enough to failure for long enough to actually progress. All you're really doing is just creating new sensation. So if your goal is to just completely fuck yourself up, then absolutely, Peter, keep changing your program. But if you want real gains, you need to stop jumping every sort of 2 to 4 weeks. You need to lock down for a 16 to 20 week building block and actually focus all that skill and effort into something. Because most stalls aren't magic adaptation. It's programming, effort, or both. Load is the tool, it is not the trigger for muscle growth. So you can see here on the left, I'm doing a big bent over row here. That has got high tension, high recruitment, and I'm training it close to failure. So that means that I'm going to be building muscle from that. But I have slowly progressed that lift. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't just slap plates on in hopes that it would build muscle. Because the real trigger, mechanical tension, training close to failure. So mechanical tension is the main driver, not tearing of your muscles. It doesn't break down tissue or anything like that. And it's not soreness and not novelty, AKA variety. Load helps create tension, but load alone doesn't guarantee it. What guarantees it is training close to failure. I'm just going to repeat myself this whole video. What doesn't guarantee it is when you have bad leverages, you're bouncing in out of the reps, you're cutting the ROMs short, sloppy reps, you're not resting for long enough. All of this stuff contributes to you not getting the most out of your program. And you'll get your numbers up, but not necessarily your numbers. So, you know, overall, sorry, I got that the wrong way around. You'll build your numbers, but not your muscles. So this is some of the times where you look at powerlifters and they look like small little children. It's simply because they haven't treated their accessory work with like a bodybuilder. So why program hopping really just completely does nothing? This is you, the bunny rabbit, and you just step into new shit that has the same smell. So on the left, we want really high level of skill acquisition. The more skillful that you can get, so technique and execution of a movement, well, more muscle tension is going to be produced because you are more capable in that movement. Now, like learning a language, that takes time, anywhere between 16 to 20 weeks to somewhat master something. But again, if you're someone like me, I've used the same program pretty much all year round. And on the right is muscle hypertrophy. Both of those things is the Goldilocks zone of where we want to be putting muscles on. So why new exercises feel so good is because there's huge strength jumps in it. Your adaptation comes up really quickly. It feels good. You get new coordination, but no new tissue. It is simply you're just getting better at that movement in that short period of time. So if you change your split rep ranges, exercises order 2 to 3 weeks, you can't progressively overload. You can't track that tension getting heavier and heavier and producing more force to deliver you closer to failure. You can't tell if progress is just getting better at the movement. So you need more time to do it. Consistency makes overload measurable, and yes, you can rotate variations occasionally, just don't do it all the fucking time and create chaos. So science-backed growth zone is anywhere between 30 to 85% of your 1RM. So you can see this guy doing lateral raises. He's going to be able to grow muscle if he's training close to failure. And then you've got Vito on the right here lifting a massive fucking deadlift. He's probably not going to put on too much muscle tissue from doing a 1RM, but within that range of the percentage, you're going to be putting on muscle tissue if taken close to failure. So hypertrophy can happen across, anywhere between 6 to 30 reps if it's taken, fuck's sake, close to failure. So proximity to failure matters more than most people want to admit. Training close to failure tends to improve hypertrophy outcomes, leaving bigger reps in the tank. But you don't need to detonate yourself every single set. There's a time and place for this. Like bigger movements, you want to sort of pull back that RAR and leave about, anywhere between sort of 1 to 3. And then with the smaller movements, you can go all the way to 0. Say bicep curls, you're going to recover very quickly, lateral raises, all these things aren't going to cause too much sort of joint damage or anything like that, or throw you in a bad position. So you can go for those a lot longer. So your isolations. So the quiet killers is going to be technique, rep speed, range of motion, and rest. So let's get into those. So technique and range of motion is very important. We want to be making sure, like choosing exercises that have across your training program that has variations in where that tension goes. This allows you to have cleaner technique in those zones, causing more muscle tension and hypertrophy in those areas. So range of motion matters, and training through longer muscle lengths is often a strong play for hypertrophy. So full range of motion as much as possible with all of your movements is going to guarantee you are taking that muscle through all its full range, delivering tension all throughout it. So rep speed, we just want it controlled. We want to standardize that speed. We don't want to be doing something in complete slow motion. As just slowing something down, your muscles still are under the same level of tension as if you're going to be doing it at max speed. Remember, the concentric, as you come up, as that slows down, that is where the mechanical tension builds up, and that is where you reach for the failure point. It's not on the down controlled level. That has its place if you're trying to learn a new movement, but overall, that is not going to deliver more stimulus to the muscle. So we should be resting. If you're not taking rest, I guarantee that you're definitely not training hard enough, or you're just rushing, which means that you've probably got too many exercises in your training program and you are spent for time. So we really want to be making sure that, like when we're doing bigger movements, anywhere between 2 to 4 minutes on, just say, deadlifts or something like that. And then for the isolations, it's anywhere to 1 to 2. But again, there's no set rules for this. If you need more time, your heart rate's still up, you're still breathing, everything else, you just need to just relax and make sure that you get the quality in every single set, not just rushing to mark off the logbook. It is all about quality at this level, guys. You don't want to be really looking to just speed run through a program and say that you train hard because you train 6 days a week, but it's just mediocre effort. Great quote, if you never need rest, you didn't hit the set, you just survived it. So volume is the dose that you can't skip. So I like to work on sort of, anywhere between sort of 8 to 16 sets per body part, depending on the person's time, ability, and goal. You need enough weekly sets to give muscle a reason to adapt. Volume dose response is a consistent theme in the literature. More isn't infinite, but too little is common, which means that there is going to be, for most people, a little Goldilocks zone. For myself and my guys, I always tend to program on the lower end, as it allows for more skill focus on the movements and intensity in those movements as well. If you do too many exercises, it's really the first 1 to 3 exercises that are going to be the most effective as far as you being, switched on enough, not fatigued, to be able to get the most out of them. As that program goes on and on and on, you're going to get more and more fatigued, and the payoff for those exercises becomes less and less. So when you are doing your own programming, make sure that you've got your bigger exercises first with some sort of primer beforehand. And then as the program goes on, the exercises get quote unquote easier, which allows you to have more intensity with those exercises. So my general rule is weaknesses get more. So for me, it's been back. I've always trained back twice a week. And then non-lagging body parts like chest and arms and stuff once a week is fine, because you can simply just train those really hard, get a mad pump, and you feel pretty good about yourself. So lifestyle reality check. None of this works if these 3 things aren't addressed. Sleep, number 1. On a schedule, 7 to 10 hours, non-negotiable. If you want to fucking grow, sleep is your best friend. Protein and calories, getting 2 times your body weight, again, a non-negotiable thing if you want to really get fucking jacked and fill out t-shirts. Stress and recovery, we've got our boy in-house physio working on someone here, making sure that they're fully recovered. If you are a big jacked guy, I recommend going and getting massage once a month, really focusing on stretching and mobility before your sessions, and taking your time to rest and have something that you de-stress. Something for me I go hunting, get out in the bush, don't even think about training, and it allows me to completely de-stress my whole nervous system, and I come back that next week really fucking ready to go. So if training intensity goes up, but sleep is trash, steps are zero, protein is random, and stress is just pegged, you're asking your body to build with no raw materials and no recovery time. So imagine that you're a builder and you're sending out your workers completely exhausted to try and build a house. That house is going to look pretty fucked up. So all in all, what we want to be really making sure that muscle confusion isn't real. We want to be making sure that we are having a set program that delivers our goal, giving us huge amounts of strength, muscle gain, and everything in between, allowing us to recover and have the time that we need to get everything else done in our life. Now, if that isn't you and you're constantly just battling time, the little voice in your head of like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, but nothing's really happening, please just reach out to me on Instagram. The Instagram is in the description, and send me the word structure, and I'll reach out and I'll show you what your next 16 weeks of training could look like.